saying I don't date single moms the way that women say I don't date broke men, would that be seen as preference or prejudice?
Prejudice.
It will be seen as prejudice by women, but preference by men. But the
yeah.
answer is it's preference.
I feel like just because a woman has a baby, that doesn't mean it's the end for them. If it didn't work out with their baby daddy, they still have a chance to find their person. I love when men take on women with babies. I'm like, that's amazing.
I think it would be seen as prejudice.
Why is it not seen as prejudice when women don't want to date broke men?
Brain break. Welcome back to the show. Got a great video for you guys here today. And for this question that I'm about to pose to you, we're going to take it all the way to the streets of Las Vegas, Nevada. Shout out to It's Complicated. This brother does street interviews that ask the most interesting questions. And the question of today is, what if the modern man dated with the same standards, requirements, and prerequisites of the modern woman? How would that change the fabric of society? How would that change modern dating? How would that change marriage, divorce, relationships? How would it change? So today we're going to watch people answer this question in a variety of different ways. This isn't your normal brain dead content. You're going to need to put in your thinking cap for this one to really consider, what would it be like? Let's enjoy this thought experiment and let's get active. Without further ado.
Imagine a society where men only dated women who are in the top 10% of beauty, youth, and femininity. How do you think that would affect everyone else?
I think it would affect them greatly. But at the same time, I feel like it's already like that now, in a way.
If every man started saying, I only date 9s and 10s, how would average women react?
I think everyone would be thinking that they were 9s and 10s.
I think
They already do.
that would create some type of caste system, a hierarchy of beauty standards and peer pressure.
I mean, it's obvious a lot of women struggle with their self-esteem, with the way they look, the way they feel, and I think that would just reinforce that feeling a million times.
If every man started saying, I only date 9s and 10s, how would average women react?
I feel like that's so mean. I don't know.
They would be offended and have some heightened feelings of insecurity, I'd imagine.
Do you think women would say those men are confident or call them shallow?
Shallow, definitely.
Why?
Because when we look for beauty, it's shallow, but when they look for handsome genetics, it's for better reasons, especially I want good genes. I want my kids to be looking good. They have genuine reasons, but we don't.
Right. He's being a little sarcastic at the end there. But this is one of those modern societal double standards that men just have to live through and women don't really acknowledge. But the idea that women having requirements, high requirement standards and preferences is often met with, yes, queen, never settle, as if it's almost empowerment, whereas men are shamed for having a hair type requirement, having a body weight requirement. I mean, shit, even having a chest or an ass size requirement. It's okay for women to have a height requirement, but it's not okay for a man to say, hey, I don't want a chick with a flat butt. Body shaming only really applies to women.
To be looking good. They have genuine reasons, but we don't.
If every man started saying, I won't settle for less than my ideal woman, the way many women do now, what would that society look like?
Oh.
It would look like people have standards, as they should.
Okay.
It would create for competition amongst women and the beauty industry to be worth double than what it is now.
I feel like everyone has their person. We should respect, if that's not your type, that's not your type. There's someone for everyone.
No, there's not.
Do you think average women would feel the same pressure that average men feel today in the dating market?
I don't know, because I honestly have it so good.
Yeah, because you're pretty.
I have pretty privilege.
Yeah, I think men have more of a proactive pressure, right? Get your life in order, get your purpose, make a lot of money, work out, make sure your body is fit. Whereas young women just chill and wait to be selective. And I'd say women have a lot more reactive pressure when them eggs start sizzling. And that wall is real, baby. Women are on a proverbial shot clock, whereas men are not as much.
I feel that they feel the same pressure because men have to pursue women mostly today, while women still wait to be pursued.
You know, women get ready every day, makeup, hair, making sure you look okay, even keeping up with like, you know, like waxing, shaving, all this. Like men don't
Hygiene?
do that type of thing. So I think that maybe they would care more about the way they look and the way they present themselves.
If most women got filtered out because men kept trading up, do you think women would start feeling the same type of loneliness that men report today?
Ooh.
Yeah, I would think so. I think that would be really hard just because, you know, you may not look as good as like some of your friends or other girls that you, just to know that you'll like never find your person is really sad actually.
Why do we call it a crisis when men can't find partners, but not when women reject average men by choice?
Because these men go and cry about it very loudly online.
What? His answer actually didn't make sense to the question.
If the top 10% of the most beautiful women got all the attention, would people call that unfair or just how attraction works?
I think that's how attraction works. It's an unfair world.
That's just how attraction works. That happens in reality today. That's not even that's factually. That's what goes on today.
Why do we celebrate female choice but criticize male choice?
Quick emergency meeting. I was recently searching for my name online and found way too much personal information, which brought me down this weird rabbit hole of how that could have happened, and found out that there's companies out there called data brokers that will sell your data to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. And it's a nasty, disgusting feeling knowing that there's bad actors out there selling my information, selling your information for profit. But that's why I'm recommending today's sponsor, Aura. Now, I use Aura to automatically remove my information from these sites and keep my information off. But they do other things as well, such as bank fraud and identity theft alerts, VPN access. But guys, utilize my link down in the description box down below for a 14-day trial. At least see if you've been compromised. Privacy is king in this day and age, and you should know if your information is out there. So again, utilize my link, aura.com/MTR, in the description box down below to try 2 weeks free. That's way more than enough time to see if your personal data has been exposed. Go now.
I have no idea. I believe personally it's a double standard.
Yeah.
I think on some part of lives, women have it harder than men. I mean, men can have babies and children at any age, like women do have a time frame. And I think making choices like whether to prioritize family over career or career over family is a tough choice to do. And I think women have to make it more younger than men do.
Sure.
In a world where men date selectively and constantly upgrade, who do you think will be left behind, and how would society react to that?
I think the less attractive for both men and women will be left behind, so to speak, or have a challenging time dating and finding a partner.
Like you said, I think the average looking women would get left behind because they would find like better, hotter, younger girls. But would they find fulfillment being with like younger, hotter people? I don't know.
If men started...
Here's the issue. Because men have to be more grounded in reality, because we're hit with objective numbers when we're earlier on in life in terms of how we're progressing, right? Like we get rejected because we are the pursuers. Young men are often not walking around boosting other young men's egos up just simply for existing or doing like basic things within life, right? Like society is not propping men up. Even men don't do that. We mostly neg each other, right? Like in a funny, joking, jovial way, which kind of like grounds us in society, which also helps us think through how to communicate. Whereas communication from woman to woman is a lot different. And actually from men to women is a lot different as well. And a lot of it is like the softening of blow based off of how you might feel about something within a situation. So women's feelings are often protected against the reality of the world that they exist in, which can create delusional standards. So if a certified 3 is walking around thinking that she is an 8 and is judging her dating prospects of that man being an 8, then she will end up alone.
My name is Optimus Prime.
It don't mean that as a 3, she won't get male attention, which is also going to cloud the way that she thinks about the perception of where she's relatively at. But if they mistake dudes that want to go deep inside versus dudes that want to retain them, then there's going to be so much of them more lonely later off in life because they incorrectly assess where they are.
Saying, I don't date single moms, the way that women say, I don't date broke men, would that be seen as preference or prejudice?
Prejudice.
It will be seen as prejudice by women, by some women, I imagine, but preference by men. But the answer is it's preference.
Yeah.
I feel like just because a woman has a baby, that doesn't mean it's the end for them. Like, they still have, if it didn't work out with their baby daddy, they still have a chance to find their person. I love when men take on women with babies. Like, I'm like,
Of
that's
course you do.
amazing.
I think it would be seen as prejudice, although I think it's fair. I think if you don't want to date someone who has a baby, whether you're a woman or a man, I think that should be your choice, and I think it's completely fair.
Why is it not seen as prejudice when women don't want to date broke men?
Brain break.
Because you don't want anyone to be leeching off of you. I think men and women should be completely equal as far as like how much they work and bring to the table. But the truth is, like, women do carry children, and if they have to be out of work for a while, then the men should be able to make up for that. So I would not date someone who's broke.
Oh, it's actually wild to watch the cognitive dissonance within real time. You cannot, within the same sentence, say that you believe in equality and also give an example of inequality within your thinking. To have a man say, I don't want to be with a single mom, and it could be for financial reasons, you gonna call him prejudice. Meanwhile, it's okay for a woman not to date a broke guy, not because of financial reasons, but because, as a woman, I have to be in a situation and I'm gonna have kids, and it's a very struggle-filled time. Like, it's absolutely insane to listen to them cope of why the logic doesn't apply to them. Let's see what this
if men
woman
started
says.
acting like women do in dating?
They should not. They should not. Women are women. And I feel
Sure.
like guys are trying to be girls these days, like get the pretty privilege. Like, let the girl have that. And like, we respect you too. I
Okay.
respect men too. Like, it's not all of, like, we're all equal.
Why aren't men allowed to date up like women without their masculinity being called into question?
I think if men were dating up, like a lot of women do, I don't think their masculinity would be called into questions, actually. I think it would be probably seen like as an alpha male type of behavior, trying to get like the hottest girl. I don't think anyone would doubt their masculinity.
If men could freely replace their partners the moment a better option appeared, how stable do you think families would be?
Very unstable. I don't agree with that. That's unethical.
Would people still encourage marriage, or would women start avoiding commitment the way many men do now?
I think they're gonna avoid it. They're gonna avoid it because no woman wants to get left, and so they're just like, oh, no, I don't want to get left, so they're gonna avoid it.
I mean, yeah, they would avoid commitment. If you're gonna get replaced the second you get like a wrinkle or like bigger, then yeah, no.
If loyalty became optional, would women still want equality or protection from the system they helped create?
Probably protection, because they created a pretty shitty system that they'd have to deal with.
How would they have that protection?
Well, I guess there's still the studs, because the guys aren't going to be able to protect too much no more.
If male
think he's just
empowerment
trolling.
meant men prioritizing beauty and youth over loyalty and connection, would feminism support that or fight it?
Probably fight it, just because it's feminism. They fight everything.
But some feminism is about being equal to a man in terms of income and status, but not necessarily sharing the responsibilities that patriarchy warrants the man to bear.
If men started saying
Exactly
we
right.
don't owe women love, the way some women say we don't owe men submission, would that be called progress or regression?
Regression.
How?
I think because you have to give and take in every situation, mostly every relationship.
I feel like I think women straying away from submitting to men and men straying away from loving their women unconditionally. There's no progression or nothing progressive to stem from that. It's just
Yeah.
gonna warrant a lack of unity and camaraderie amongst partners.
He's smart.
What if men started acting like women do in dating? Only dating up, never settling, always deserving better. What would happen?
They're gonna start dating a bunch of rich dudes.
Isn't that what they're already doing?
I don't know. I'm not dating a rich dude.
We would see less families, I imagine less marriages, the divorce rate continuing to increase, and just a lack of trust, short-term partnerships.
What if men started acting like women do in dating? Only dating up, never settling, always deserving better. What would happen?
Do women do that?
Huh?
I don't think they do that.
Huh?
But I mean, I think they would struggle finding partnership, and I think people would be left behind.
Men today are told, become high value, go to the gym, make money, level up. But if they did all of that just to chase younger women, would people still call it growth or call it shallow?
Yeah, call it shallow.
I mean, when you put it in the way of finding younger women, that can be a little shallow.
Why?
But at the same time, like, any women could be that, young or older.
But don't men typically have a preference for younger women?
Of course. You always want the younger thing.
Right, but to them it's not a preference, it's a prejudice. You know, what's interesting is the more that I watch these interviews and I see women summarizing their points, I often find that a lot of their comments are just baked in cope based off of hierarchical positioning. So they'll shame you because you've worked well within your life and you've achieved within your life, yet you're looking at a younger woman, may it be 10 years, your junior or what have you, 30 to 50 pounds less than the women of your current age group. And they'll try to shame you for it. But I find that, right, like the concept of sister code is really only specific to like generalized thought around men versus women. But within their own communication in their own communities, women are often super vicious to other women. And that is based off of hierarchical standards. A woman is more apt to call a woman a hoe before a man will call a woman a hoe. And they'll practice this with lies, manipulation, innuendo, and as well as reputation destruction. A man will try to destroy another man, whether it comes to violence, physicality, comparison, whether it be life results or finances, where I find women try to do it with words, right? Like women are a lot more indirect with their approach, whereas men are a lot more direct with their approach. But when I hear these talking points, it's like their points are often misguided by however they can maintain hierarchical position for themselves.
I think you should look to better yourself for yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, and bettering yourself just to get to someone hotter and younger just seem like such a waste of time in the long term.
Because it's not for themselves, it's for external validation. If they did those things to for the betterment of their health and their own mental well-being and physical well-being, it would be growth.
Why are men told to level up to deserve love while women are told to never settle no matter where they're at?
Because in this world, guys don't get anything unconditional. We got to work for everything.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know that either. I'm trying to figure that out. My dad didn't tell me, grandpa didn't tell me, but I just know the only people to get unconditional love are puppies and babies.
If women had to self-improve to attract hypergamous men, would they call that oppression or accountability?
That depends on who they is.
Such a good question.
Men will call it accountability, I suppose.
Probably oppression. I would feel like I'm pressured if I had to, make sure I look like this good every day just to be with someone. I would definitely feel pressured.
It's
Do you think
actually insane. With that logic, you flip genders, men are currently oppressed. Interesting.
Society would tell women to work harder on their value or blame men for having unrealistic standards?
As of right now, I think it's blame men for unrealistic standards.
Why do we praise women for having standards but shame men for having options?
because having options is really about being non-committal and not loyal. And for women having standards, it's them getting whatever they deserve, and that's subjective to the woman.
Because I
Ooh,
think having
he's good.
options in life is not always seen as a good thing. It's seen as like, are you gonna pick like the best option, the best looking person, or are you gonna pick who truly would be a great fit for you, even though that person may not be the hottest, but that would be the person that makes you the happiest.
What does it say about our culture that we're already halfway there, men improving themselves while women raise their standards even higher?
Means that maybe things can change better for the future and when it comes to dating.
It says that we're a culture that evolves and changes. What used to work in the 1800s might not work in the 2020s. And I'm not sure what it's evolving to. A lot of things impact that, such as the internet. We now have a more warped but universal understanding of what beauty is and what status is now due to social media, for example.
Are men truly becoming lonely, or are they just becoming aware of the same selective system women have always used?
I think they are becoming more aware, but
Yeah.
also men are lonely because of social media has ruined dating, and people are out here thinking they have unlimited options
Yeah, but
instead of finding true connections with someone.
But wouldn't you say that women are the ones who have more options than men? Because there's a male loneliness epidemic and not a female loneliness epidemic?
Yes, but I think that women are more selective than men are.
But don't women have the privilege of being more picky because they have more options?
Yeah, I mean that yeah, but at the same time, like if you're an attractive man and you have money and you have all the things that women are looking for, then it's reversed.
But
Yeah.
aren't high status men a lot more rare
yeah, they
than
are.
attractive women?
They are.
Yeah, there's one hot guy for every 10 hot girls. That's just how it is in this world.
I think she messed it up with that last statement right there, but his question leading is just ridiculously good. With this logic, this guy who has achieved this would have options. But when it comes to a guy having options, it is viewed as a negative, even if he earned those options. But I do agree, though, that many men are waking up now, especially with content like this that currently exists, so that they can more properly assess kind of where it is that they exist within the dating marketplace, that they can understand how rare that they actually are. Because if you get in your own microcosm of friends around you doing the exact same type of thing, you may not think of yourself as rare. Or if you've overconsumed content in your young life that teaches you as the man subliminally, sometimes it's in your face, that you are lesser than, or that you are not to be respected as much, or that your quest for a significant other needs to be put on a pedestal and she should be treated like XYZ regardless of the amount of respect that she gives you, the way that she treats you back, which, you know, a lot of us have been fed this information, but we can see the dissonance play out. These are the riders of equality, but we'll call a man's behavior prejudice. But if you flip that logic around for the woman, it's seen as oppressive. Huh?
I think men have always been lonely. Will continue to be lonely because there's not enough
Solitude,
jobs
baby.
that for rich guys, because that's all women want right now. You could have everything else except for finances, and you're still going to get left in the dust.
If both sides
my
keep
evil
trying
twin.
to date up, who's left to actually pair up?
Average looking people that have
Average need to get with the
values of
average.
yesterday.
At the end of the day, do you think equality means both genders competing or both learning restraint?
I think it means both learning restraint.
Is a woman wanting the bigger, better deal the equivalent of men wanting the younger, hotter chick?
Absolutely.
No. I think a lot of women are looking for a better deal because they maybe have struggled and they just want someone that can bring them stability, love. Because for me, I know that's what matters the most. Like love, being stable, someone that's not going to, get with someone better tomorrow because they just
This
can.
is insane. My guys, you got to understand, if you're dating women with these type of talking points, you must understand as early as possible that this is for the streets type of answers. You must understand this. Don't you be getting 5-6 months into the relationships to start thinking that this one's the one. She's a strong, thoughtful, intellectual, empowering. I'm trying to tell you, these are the no-goes. These are the no-goes, the no-shows. This might be a short-term coitus occasion, all right, for lack of a better term that won't get me demonetized. But these are for a short term. Trust me, they will forever have excuses for bad behavior. They will always cope, right? Like they have no empathy whatsoever. They can't logically look at the world and rationalize why certain things happen. More accurate than not. If these women are not followers or cooperative of your leadership, leave them alone.
If someone better tomorrow because they just can.
They'll always
Why
find
does
excuses.
the family court only punish one gender for pursuing their hypergamy?
I don't know, because that's just how
That's
the world
just how,
is.
Fuck it. That's just
Moms
how.
are going to be favored no matter what.
Because a lot of those laws were formed centuries and decades ago and they haven't been updated.
If equality means both genders can be as selective as they want, then what happens when men finally stop settling?
Women have to become accountable and actually upgrade themselves besides just being physically attractive.
Would society call that equality or ego?
Equality.
I feel like it's both, but I want to say it's probably more ego
Why?
because men have really big egos.
I think society will call that ego.
Why?
It has nothing to do with characters and the treatment of someone else. It's all about aesthetics, things that aren't aesthetics and material, things that are lacking substance.
And lastly, do you think the dating market would survive if men started valuing themselves the same way that women do?
Oh, survive is a strong word. I don't know. I would definitely dwindle. It'd be like this. Like this. You see that? This.
Yeah.
It'd be really low.
I think simply put, if you were to switch the power of the genders and men acted like women and women acted like men, essentially it would just be, everything would be the same. It would just be flipped, right? There'd be some, obviously biological differences and implications of that. Like we probably have a lot more polyamory normalized within our society than monogamy. But if men weren't just giving out eggplant for free, if men were being more realistic with women, if they'd stop simping and white knighting, then effectively you'd force more accountability onto women to understand what is it, who they are, what is it that they're doing, how are they rising to the occasion, how they are improving themselves, how are they learning men, how are they respecting men, and how are they treating men. But I think some of the majority of the push of the feminist movement has to do with the benefits of a time where that was more so, right? Where men were more appreciated, right? They still want the chivalry benefits, but they also want the benefits of equality when we're all considered equal or the same, while also being hypergamous, while also being protected. So will it ever change? No, but I think that the more men that are waking up to understand kind of who they are, where they're positioned, it helps them rationalize where it is that they want to go, what it is that they want to do in their life. Although they call it the male loneliness epidemic, we could say some men out there are lonely. I'm referring to it as the male solitude epidemic because I think it's a lot more men that are rationalizing singleness. But hypergamy has always existed. The idea of dating up for women has always existed. And I think there's a lot of biological reasons as to why that is. And that's never going to change. Although the software of societal prescriptions have updated and changed, the hardware of our biology will not change anytime soon. I just find it so interesting that we can watch the modern cope of if you flip genders with similar ideologies, although they tout equality from the mountaintops, all of a sudden now you call a behavior or an action prejudice or unfair. And this is because your rationale or your line of thinking has not been hit with accountability, or you don't have the empathy to put yourself in men's shoes to see how we might be affected or how double standards make it unfair for men. And listen, I am not the fair police. I don't think equality is a real thing. I think that it's survival of the fittest out here. Get it how you live, baby. Some people are going to start life on very easy difficulty. Some going to start life on very hard with all skulls turned on. But no matter where you are at, it's about understanding how this world works and finding, if not exploiting, the opportunities. But effort matters, attitude matters, character matters, cooperation matters, leadership matters, discipline matters, respect matters. Like all of these things matter. And as long as we all figure it out, we're going to be all right. All right, guys, let me know what you think up in the comment box down below. Did you learn anything new from this conversation? Did you get any upcoming dinner night questions to throw out on the table? Can you imagine how quickly a conversation like this is going to turn to angst over a dinner conversation? You may never be invited back again. Nevertheless, though, shout out again to It's Complicated for doing the field work. Link to his channel down up in the description box down below. He has a plethora of content available on his channel. So go over there, check him out, tell him MTR sent you, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Until next time, peace.
So, without further ado, MTR, cut through the BS like we in charge. No cap with the rappers like steel bars. I'm packing and rapping like here we are. Mediocre tutorial reviews. Like, comment, share my views. Come up and I paid my dues. Big step in my black way shoes. MTR, he break it down, yeah, it's MTR. Check out the sound when it's MTR. No one put it down like it's MTR.